Good morning. So as you guys know, this video of this CTE teacher is viral. It's of this man who has come to the realization that his students can't read. For those of you who don't know what CTE means, is career technical education, or vocational education. Basically, it's the teachers that teach some type of trade or some type of skill that's non-core academic. So this guy, and I believe he's supposed to be a veteran teacher, um, is going viral because he made a video on the first day of school decrying over the fact that his students can't read and they are seniors. I'm going to unpack that in just a moment. But there are three things you don't do when you are when you make social media posts in education, or when you make social media posts and you work in, say, a profession. I don't know because I'm a fake teacher. But what you do is, number one, you never wear a lanyard with your school or your district name on it. You don't have anything displayed that is related to your school, because your thoughts and your opinions have to be your own. And last thing you need is some docs and some bitches calling your school saying, "Oh, well, this person hurt my feelings, so I'm gonna try to get him fired." I mean, I've never met him and I don't know of his qualifications. You don't ever wear your school, anything related to your school. Number two, you never record inside of your school building. You never take a video camera for social media purposes, to highlight and elevate and promote um, anything you think or feel or believe inside of a school building. And number three, you never talk about the issue, or you never talk about, good morning, you never talk about the issue, or you never talk about anything currently happening in your school building. This gentleman, this individual, should get fired for this, to be honest with you, or he should get severely reprimanded. No one's saying his cause isn't noble or his feelings aren't genuine. Although I will say that this video did more of a counter effect than to what he wanted or hoped would happen. Because for anybody who worked in education to not know our seniors are struggling or our youth are struggling to read, you are a self-glorified person seeking attention when you go to social media and you put tears in your eyes and you start crying about Johnny can't read. We already fucking knew Johnny couldn't read. So this video and just the timing of it was weird, because here's the reality. This man, if he's worked in education long enough to know, and I'm gonna let y'all guys in on a little secret because I see a few people watching. This man knows for a fact, or he should know, that third grade is the only grade that kids get retained or kids get held. This guy's in Houston, so I'm pretty sure the rules that apply in Florida also apply in Texas and other states as well. This man also knows that you can go to the fourth grade, get all F's and pass. You can go to the fifth grade, get all F's and pass. You can go to the seventh grade, get all F's and pass. You can go to the eighth grade, get all F's, and you're going to still be able to go to high school. You can go to the ninth grade, fail all your classes, and you're going to get promoted to the 10th grade. You can go to the 10th grade, fail all your classes, and you still get promoted to the 11th grade. You can fail all your classes, and you still will get promoted to the 12th grade. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about is a construct called social promotion. And it's something that has been put in place for roughly 50 years, I want to say, because it was individuals like this who had their eyes open, tears rolling, saying, "My baby can't read." And so what was happening was a lot of folks thought that Black students were so incapable of academic achievement that they said in the 70s, we are going to allow students to still be passed on to the 12th grade based on their age level and their social abilities. So, like what this gentleman is saying, they can cognitively reason, they can articulate points, but they can't read or write. So, salute to everybody coming in. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you're watching. But that's called social promotion. So I get frustrated watching this guy try to go viral from his classroom talking about trashing his students. Basically, he's trashing his students. Let's be real, that they can't read when we already fucking know this. The problem is not the fact that the kids can't read. The problem is we have systems in place academically over the course of 50 or more years that have not changed, that have promoted a lack of educational discipline within the school setting. In so short, you keep voting for the same bad policies. You keep voting for the same corrupt school board members. You keep voting for the same corrupt politicians who give bad advice on education. You keep standing beside the bad educational leaders because they're on your side of the politics. You're going to keep getting the same type of results, and you're going to have the same stress and the same tears. If you really want to know why Johnny can't read, then why don't you go look at the Every Student Succeeds Act? Why don't we look at the Early Secondary Education Act of the 1960s? Why don't we go look at No Child Left Behind? Because and here's the thing: for all its grief and for all its shame, for all its frustration that people were saying about No Child Left Behind, No Child Left Behind actually was supposed to do what this guy is crying about. It's supposed to hold people accountable to make sure them kids knew how to damn well read when they left those teachers' classrooms or they had some semblance of literacy. But this man is crying. He got tears in his eyes. But I bet you he was like, "Oh, No Child Left Behind, No Child Left Behind." No Child Left Behind was a standard, was a design to hold teachers accountable to ensure that curriculum was being taught correctly in classrooms to all students and that all students were experiencing academic growth within the classroom. Now, did it accomplish that? No. But people always complain, "Oh, we just put a test." Well, how do you measure whether or not the teacher's doing their job? You wait till they get to the 12th grade? So social promotion, the best way I can describe it is if you ever seen the show Good Times, and if you ever watched Good Times, there's an episode where JJ fails his classes or fails most of his classes, and he's still promoted to the 12th grade. The parents are outraged about this, and they're like, "Well, he shouldn't have been promoted." And then, of course, at the end, JJ's like, "Well, I'm going to be promoted, but Mama, I'm going to try my hardest my senior year to get it right." Because the idea is, as long as a kid can socially interact and cognitively interact with their age group, the student gets passed on. Ladies and gentlemen, that is happening in the 21st century of educational settings. So you cannot be surprised if Johnny can't read by the 12th grade because it wasn't a priority for Johnny to read in any grade prior to that except the 3rd grade. And if he gets held back one time, so what? I can't tell you how many kids are now 19, 20 years old graduating because of this idea and this construct known as social promotion. So when we have these arguments and we have these complaints and you have these gripes and you do what this gentleman is doing and he's crying to social media or the internet about a problem we already fucking know, what is this going to change? How about this? How about we analyze the policies and procedures of the last 50 years and we look and see which side are we on? Are we on the side of accountability or are we on the side of social promotion? Because if we're on the side of accountability, we would support things such as no child left behind or criterion reference testing or something to measure a student's ability to learn before or mastery of content or subject. We would promote that. We wouldn't try to keep coming up with new ideas to say, well, we need to find new inventive ways of learning. So let's introduce all the sorts of liberal arts into the school setting to help kids learn. Because the bottom line is this: as much as I love going to the theater classes, if a kid can't read at a school, if a school is struggling to produce competent readers, why do we have theater classes instead of reading classes? If a kid is struggling if a school is struggling with reading comprehension, why are we promoting dance classes instead of reading classes? But you see, they'll tell you those type of things stimulate learning. And they've even pushed ballroom dancing into some inner city hood schools because people want to justify why they do what they do. So you need to ask, why are politicians allowing that to happen in failing schools? Why are schools continuously, some schools have a 10-year grade level of no greater than a D or a C? And we're sitting here still allowing the same people to lead those schools. That's crazy. I mean, it's hard to process sometimes. But when people like this get on the internet and they start shedding tears, it makes us look weak because we know what makes us even look more weak is the world knows we elect and we keep the same ideology pervading in our community without even trying something different when these failures happen. We're the only group that can get away with no student passing the reading score in the city of Baltimore for a particular grade, and the mayor wasn't fired, the school board wasn't fired, the city council wasn't fired, teachers weren't fired, that the principals weren't fired. We're the only group of people who can actually look at that type of organized failure and we still elect the same people. We're the only group of people that could watch the city of Atlanta corrupt an entire federal system by rigging standardized testing from the top of the superintendent all the way down to principals. And these people, the only way they were removed was because they got federally indicted. Otherwise, they would have still been in their positions. But you want to cry about kids not being able to read. There are people who have found ways to grift themselves into education. And they'll tell you education, oh, we need, so particularly down here in the state of Florida, right now, we're probably going to have an amendment proposal in November in the elections on property taxes. Some people are saying, "Hey, we want to get rid of property taxes." I want to get rid of property taxes. Other people are saying, "Hey, we want to keep property taxes." So here's the reality with this. The reality with this is people are going to use property taxes and say, well, the schools are going to hurt because of this. The schools are going to get impacted because of this. They're going to use the school as a resource and a reason to say we should keep property taxes in the state of Florida. Even if you own your property and you paid your property off and you own your property outright, they're still saying that's not really your property because you guys pay just to own that property in this state. I don't think that's right. But I can give even a better argument to that for anybody who out there listening right now who says that we should have state property taxes because, and goes to the point of why I had this grown ass man crying about kids not being able to read on my screen. But I have been in places where schools have asked the taxpayers to accept a tax. It could be a tax on um restaurants. It could be a half-cent tax. It could be all these sorts of things. And they said, with this tax increase, we can hire more teachers. We can give teachers raises. We can do all of these different things. And the minute that measure passed, the first thing they did was give raises to the people in the top office positions in the district, and they didn't give raises to the teachers, and they were building new buildings. That money did not even touch the hands of the teachers who are teaching your children. So off the rip, when somebody tells you that if we take away this tax, it's going to hurt the school system, I'm sorry. History shows that's a lie, or it's not true, or it's bad information. But we keep voting for these people and listening to these lies and listening to these mistruths or listening to these false certainties. So if you want to cry about why Johnny can't read, take your ass down there to your city hall and you see how long those people have been in place and look exactly who you voted for. And if they've been in place longer than 5 years, and Johnny was a freshman in eighth grader in middle school, and in 5 years they've not done anything to help Johnny improve his ability to read, stop voting for him. I don't care if they're a Kappa. I don't care if they're AKA. I don't care if they're APA. I don't care their Divine Nine affiliation. We've got to start holding people like that accountable. And that's the reason why Johnny can't read. It ain't got nothing to do with, oh, well, this is a systematic. We knew this for 50 years. We knew they were passing kids on, even though them kids couldn't even spell. Some of these kids could spell their names. That's not a oh my God problem. That's a wow. Why are we doing this? Why are we electing people who allow this problem? So salute to everybody on that. I'm gonna keep this live up, but I just want to share that idea to help you understand what social promotion really does and really is. If you have not liked this channel, make sure you like it. If you haven't subscribed to it, Make sure you subscribe to it. And then also, if you want to donate to the Fake Teacher Fund, the Cash App is up there. All right, I'm going.